half the reason why I'm going ahead with this exhibition bout on July 2nd, because when you've and it probably, unless you've been, and I hope this doesn't sound arrogant, but once you've heard that crowd roar, and there's only 40,000, 60,000, there's only one Ricky Hatton. It's like
unbelievable.
It's like walking out at Highbury. When you retire, it's the one thing you miss, because it's that adrenaline rush that you're never going to have again.
Wow.
Well, I've got the chance to have it again, guys.
Absolutely.
So.
And we'll talk about Tyson a little bit later, because that's what I think he's going to miss, but we'll do that in a bit. So a brilliant 15-year professional boxing career. You took on the best, didn't you? Mayweather, Pacquiao and all that. He sold out the MGM in Vegas.
Was you there, weren't you?
I was there, yeah.
Did you see the fight?
No, I didn't.
he had a ticket, Rick.
I was there.
Yeah.
I bumped into some friends.
He was drinking all my Guinness.
I bumped into some friends from Glasgow in the piano band, the Bellagio, and never made it. I better have a shower and watch the fight. He said, "You missed it." I'm like, "What?" But when you talk about, Pacquiao, Mayweather, the best of the best you took on.
Yeah, well, it was. I didn't, and believe it or not, I didn't accept them defeats well. I mean, even though I was in with Mayweather, and the pound for pound number one in the division, and it was my biggest payday, if you like. I generally went over there thinking I could beat him. I wasn't there to make the numbers up or prepare me chair. I thought, I'm going to beat this clown.
Top of numbers. You had some fans there that day.
Unbelievable.
And then when I didn't, it was hard. It was hard for me to accept. And then ultimately, when I got beat by Pacquiao to get destroyed in 2 rounds. That was very, very hard for me to.
Had you prepared your normal preparation? There was no, there was no shortcuts. You went in there.
No, always did.
100%.
I think by the time I fought Pacquiao, I mean, there was a few miles on the clock. Do you know what I mean? Because unlike Mayweather, I wasn't exactly a master of defence. Hence, that's why I look like I look. But and I used to take 5 to get one in, and so by the time I got to the Pacquiao fight, there was a few miles on the clock. And at the time, he was blasting out everyone.
Yeah.
So I mean, when you fight aggressive and go for the knockout every time, like I do, there's every chance I could have walked onto one, and I did. But ultimately, until my comeback fight, which was a few years ago now, I can proudly say that the only 2 that beat me was probably the 2 of the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
How hard was it to retire, Ricky? I mean, we've heard Fury say, "Oh, that's it, I'm out of it." But did you miss it when you retired?
Absolutely. Yeah. And and that's why I struggled. It's something that I've done. Since I left school, I just at 60, apart from fit a few dodgy carpets for me dad. But when the minute I turned 18. That's all I've done, professional boxing, training every day. And then all of a sudden, when I got beat by Pacquiao and I'm sat on my settee and I think to myself, that's it now, I've got to retire. What am I going to do with myself?
Yeah.
It's
tough.
It's tough, because I think walking to the ring was the most nervous part of the whole boxing of the fight. You walk into the ring, you're thinking, what the hell am I doing this for here? But then when it's gone, that nervousness, that adrenaline, that's the thing you miss the most. And that's when you've been doing something your whole working life, and then all of a sudden it's over. You think, what am I going to do now? And ultimately that led to me losing the plot a little bit.
Well,
yeah, Ricky, just going on that last little point you made. Obviously, I've had mental health problems myself, and I've got my academy going. And how important was that for you to get your gym up and running, start training fighters, being in the gym, being around people, helping people? And has that been the catalyst to you getting a bit fit? 'Cause I've seen your videos where you're working out and you're looking after yourself. Has that been the catalyst to you saying, you know what, I wouldn't mind going in and having a little tear up again?
Yeah, one of it, when I retired, I thought, what am I going to do now? So I started becoming a trainer, getting in the gym and trying to bring the next one through.
Yeah.
But I was still in quite a bad way in my heart. I still wanted to be fighting. A few things in my personal life. I fell out with my mum and dad. I fell out with my trainer, Billy Graham, and then so it wasn't quite working at a bit. And but then eventually, my little baby girl Millie, my second child, she came, and I thought, come on, Rick, it's not about you anymore. You got to get yourself together. And bit by bit, I got myself together. I couldn't quite do it well at first. I had to go and see someone, and I fell on my knees, put my arms around the back of him, and I said, listen, I'm going to kill myself. You need to help me. I can't do it. I've tried this. I said, I just can't do it. And it was the best thing I ever did. And since, the fact that I nearly took my own life and I didn't, now I've got like Campbell's gone professional, my son.
Yeah.
I'm a granddad now, granddad hitman. My 2 little girls are going up fantastic. I've made up with my mum and dad. I've made up with Billy Graham. You know what I mean? I'm in such a good place now, and it's because I went and spoke to somebody.
That's
you know
incredible.
What I mean?
Yeah,
and got it off me chest.
Incredible.
And
we spoke to Tyson,
and I have no shame in telling anyone that story, because if it helps people, Alan.
Yeah, we spoke to Tyson Fury in here, and he said the exact same. He said, I was driving along, I just had enough, and I see this tree on the left-hand side coming up to it, and he said, I almost swerved right in, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, well, I think, there was a picture, I don't know if you remember, where me and Tyson were in the gym, and we were both massively overweight, and we both had our shirts off, and we're giving it that. I wish you'd take your shirt off, Trev, personally, but no. So me and Tyson were in the gym, and we both got our shirts off, and we're like 2 beach whales, you know what I mean? And somebody put it in one of the local papers in Manchester the other day, and they said, you know what an ambassador Ricky and Tyson is for mental health, because if you look where the pair of them were back then, 7 years ago, where Tyson now is, he's retired, but now he's the heavyweight champion of the world.
Well, Eddie Hearn took a look at him and said, I'm not touching my barge pole. He told us that, didn't he? Ray?
Yeah, he did.
And then myself, they say, look at Ricky Hatton, where he was 6 or 7 years ago, and look what he's doing on the 2nd of July now. I mean, it's... And if me making this exhibition helps one person say, listen, look what Ricky's done, how he's turned his life around and got himself back on track, then it's worth it.
Is there some people still trying to say, don't do it, it's not good for your health?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And I think, a lot of people, when they listen to us talking here, they'll get probably why I am doing it. I think it's pretty straightforward, I mean, some people say, hey, you're doing it for the money. And, I feel blessed that I'm one of the few boxers that, looked after his money, and his money's he's done well, but I'm not doing it for that. I think it's when we mentioned about hearing the roar, the crowds, it's one thing you as a professional athlete, it's the one thing you miss more than anything. Talked about my mental health in lockdown. I lost, and I'm sure there's a lot of listeners out there, I lost family members through the COVID, I lost family members through mental health. Through the thing, and the phone call come 2 months ago and said, listen, Ricky, we want to do a celebration, do like a concert type event with you top of the bill against Marco Antonio Barrera as a celebration of coming out of the lockdown time. And it was an easy decision for me to make. People will say, oh, you're doing it about the money, and it's nice when people say, we don't want to see you get
What did your boy say? What did Campbell say when you told him you were doing it?
He said, Campbell said, absolutely no chance. Absolutely no chance. I went, what do you mean no chance? He went, look at the size of your dad. That's what he actually said to me.
Have you got a catch weight? Catch weight for the fight?
Yeah, it's not at 10 stone, I was like welterweight once, but now it's at 11.5 stone, which obviously, I mean, I was, when I first went back in the gym, I was 14 stone 6. Now I'm 12 stone 10, 12 stone 9. Yeah. So I've done that in 4 weeks. I've still got 9 weeks to go, and it's like an example when Campbell says that to me, and it's my boxers, two amateur boxers come up to me the other day when I went to this amateur boxing club, and they turned around and said, you know what, Ricky, I need to pull my socks up you. I went, what do you mean? They went, if you're doing what you're doing when you're 43, I need to pull. So it's giving an example to youngsters, saying, look at this fella still going for it at 43. It's looking for people with mental health and saying, look where Ricky was a few years ago. And if people say, why are you doing it, then I think it's pretty obvious why I'm doing it. You know what I mean? We're retired, but we're not dead.
No.
You know what I mean? And it's we all have goals, don't we? We all have goals, and I'm still setting my goals.
Absolutely.
So Ricky Hatton is with us in the studio until 10 a.m. He's back in the ring on the 2nd of July against Barrera at the Manchester Arena. Is it the AO Arena?
Yeah, the AO Arena.
AO Arena in Manchester.
I feel very, very proud now. The tickets have gone amazingly so fast. I mean, there's obviously, there's still some left, so you can get it on hattonbarrera.com. But I think it's going to be like more of a concert as opposed to a boxing show. We're having live music acts, so you'll have a fight. They'll be like 2 UFC legends, and then you'll have a live act on, and then you'll have you'll have a rapper or something like that. Then you'll have another.
No one Liam might come.
Yeah.
So will Tyson pop over? Do you think?
I'd like to think so. Yeah, I'd like to think so. But it's it's got to be more like a a party. That's how they've sold it to me. And I do know my best days are behind me, so you don't have to worry about me, folks. I'm all. Ricky's going to be all right. It's a chance for me to showcase my skills again with another legend like Barrera, I think.
So head to HattonBarrera.com, use the hashtag HitmanRises.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Alan Brazil. Thursday and Friday morning, 6 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.